Hello, thank you all for tuning in. I'm SelenaMarshae, and this is you+happy, where every other Tuesday I bring you someone who challenges us to define happiness and success on their own terms with a dose of laughter. Remember to subscribe to the you+happy podcast on YouTube. This will keep you up to date on episodes, red carpet stuff, the Atlantaverse skits, and snippets and clips and shorts and all the fun stuff. And it helps the show grow so I can keep having amazing guests on the show. So please subscribe and share. It is so helpful to the show. And this week we have Prentiss Matthews III, who is an actor, playwright, and teaching artist. He's also an art activist, and he is created the play The Golden Lock, which is a play under Theater for Young audiences.
Yeah.
Yes. I messed up behind the scenes, y'all, rehearsal. But anyways, welcome to the show, Prentiss.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I'm excited that you're here. I'm so glad. And we got to meet on the red carpet. Well, the step and repeat. It wasn't no carpet day that day, but it was a step and repeat. So
the food was good though,
and I didn't get any. I was too busy yapping with everybody on but everybody said the food was good. Mm-hmm. So shout out to the Solidarity Brunch.
Yeah,
it was amazing, and I got to meet so many great people. So we're gonna jump right in. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready.
How did you get started?
Oh, okay. I got started. Well, I've been doing theater since I was 9 years old.
Okay.
And I didn't know it was theater. I thought it was Halloween. because I'm like, oh, we get to dress up and play pretend. I do this all the time.
Right.
And so, I was in a show in my elementary school, and I had one line, and I loved it. And then I kept doing it, and I was like, okay, where's the candy? And my mom's like, this is a play. I'm like, oh, so it's not trick or treating. But I liked it, so I kept doing it. And then, all through high school, and then I went to college, got a whole BFA in theater, and I've been doing it for a long time. Yeah.
What was the line? Do you remember it?
I don't remember the line.
Because I was like, it's one line. I was just wondering if you remembered it from there.
I think it was like, I'm Henry Clay. And that was it.
Nailed it. What did you like about it? I know the dressing up, but like being in front of a live audience, you weren't nervous?
No, because I was a Disney kid. I watched all like Mary Poppins, Cinderella, like the Brandy version. And I would just pretend at home, like I was in the show. And so I was like, oh, people do this outside of my house. And so, it was just, it was a space where I felt like my weirdness was okay.
Yes.
Yes.
That's why I love art. I'm an actress, and I love the show. I do the talking on the show and stuff. But when I'm around artists, that's what I feel like. I don't know if normal is the right word, but accepted.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm amongst my people, and that's the only time. When I'm around any other sort of people, I'm like, I gotta like reel it in a little bit. But when I'm with my people, I'm just like, hello, fellow weirdos.
Yes.
So it really feels different being around a bunch of artists. So on this journey, what made you think this could be a career? What made you believe that?
It was in high school when that's when like theater got like more serious. I feel like in elementary school and middle school, my experience at least, it was an extracurricular.
Yeah.
It was just something fun to get the kids to do. But like in high school, I was like, oh, we have to audition. We have to like go to rehearsals, and it's longer. And it was when like my high school teacher told me that he went to AMDA, American Musical Dramatic Arts Academy. And I was like, wait, you can go to school for this? I didn't know you can go to school for theater.
Right.
And so at that time, my heart was set on going to AMDA in New York City and being like a musical theater performer. But my GPA was not.
GPA said no, we're not going.
GPA was like, that's a good dream. The GPA was like community college.
Mine said that too, because that's where I went.
Me too. I got a whole associate, so I was like, it worked out. But like that was the dream, and that's what kind of set me on at the age of 16. I was like, okay, I want to study theater. I want to be on Broadway. That was the goal. But I also like realized at that time that I really wanted to showcase like Black art and like be a part of Black theater. And I was like begging my teacher, I'm like, can we do Hairspray? Can we do like The Color Purple? Can we do something? And unfortunately, like I was met with those shows are kind of divisive.
Hairspray?
Yeah, like it talks about racism, and we don't want to do that.
We should. We should talk about racism.
Right?
We should talk about it every day.
Yes, because like in my household, my mom showed me all types of black movies.
Right, right.
And so I was like, why haven't I played black yet? And I've been doing theater since I was 9. I was 16 at the time. I'm like, why can't I be black? Played everything but black, but I live a black experience.
Right.
Yes. So like, it was really, I didn't have the language at the time. So I started writing. And like the first play I wrote was a modern Christmas adaptation called "'Twas the Night Before Bah Humbug," which is like just the Charles Dickens classic, but told through a black boy perspective. It was around the year Trayvon Martin got, you know, and I wanted to showcase that black boys have emotions. Black boys deserve to be seen. And unfortunately, like, you know, where I was living in rural Georgia, they weren't too open to that show. And so, but for years I kept working on it. And at 21, I was working at Martin's selling biscuits, going to community college. And my partner at the time, he was like, "What you want for Christmas?" And I was like, "Honestly, I want to finish my show." And he was like, "Can I see it?" And I was like, "Sure." And like, it was just a few scenes. And he was like, "I want to help you finish this." And so like, he just motivated me to finish it. And I wrote the show in a week, like a full one act. And then I was like, "I'm gonna produce it next year." And so that's what I did. And I produced it in the Boys and Girls Club in Paulding County. They helped me, which was, I was a Boys and Girls Club kid. I rehearsed there. I used the students there. I volunteered my time there for like 3-4 months. Taught the kids theater, and we did the show. So yeah.
Well, congratulations. First off, I had so many questions. Wait, what? Really quickly, my brother was a part of the Boys and Girls Club as a under brother. Like what is like the the mentee,
yeah, like the mentee. Yes,
he wasn't a mentor, but it helped him a lot. What were some of the benefits? How did it help you? I mean, obviously because you went back. How was it helpful to you?
Oh, the Boys and Girls Club.
When you were like the younger brother.
Oh yes, I feel like it helped a lot of black boys. In my opinion, there was one little black boy at the time who was real. He was real closed off and not as emotional, you know. And teaching him theater, it helped him open up. It helped him express himself. And I remember my mom told me this. She was like, his parents came up to him after the show, and he was like, he was going through a rough time this year, you know, struggling in school, struggling to connect with folks. And he was like, I'm just grateful that your son did this because now he's completely shifted.
Wow.
Yeah. So like, I think it's important. The work that I did there, it was my first opportunity seeing like my piece come to life. I had no clue. I was like, I'm 21. I'm gonna figure this out, and I did. But like, it was nice going back to where I grew up and helping those kids.
Yeah. Like I said, congratulations, because so many people, including myself, we have ideas and then we never finish them. So I don't care how it was or wasn't, you finished it. And so you know what that process is like, and you know you can finish things. And that's huge. I know so many people, myself included, who have had scripts and stuff, and they just sitting dusty on my laptop. So for you to no, I know, but I like that you finished that. So that's something to really celebrate. And then what you said about the Boys and Girls Club, we produced like a marketing video for them a long time ago, and their statistics, especially for Black boys, I can't remember the exact number, but they're really great. Like their graduation success and the turnarounds they have. I saw the turnarounds in my brother. We were just looking up stats. Only 23% of Black boys or Black men where we're from have bachelor's degrees, and he has one.
Wow.
So I mean,
yeah.
And what you said about, and I love that your work for that play was about helping Black boys express themselves and show their emotions and show that Black boys do have emotions.
Yes.
And that's really important. I think it can get lost on us how important that message is in our society, because if you watch, the media, but if you watch this stuff, it's like like we're not human almost.
Yeah, it's just a hashtag, and then like, oh, we feel bad for a few weeks, and we're
Yeah,
gonna move on to the next topic.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Um, so when you went, what's the biggest misconception about theater, or when you were on your journey? What was the biggest thing? Like, oh my God, I didn't know this.
Oh, this this gonna sound bad, but I thought it was like High School Musical. I really did. I
Like
was
Glee?
yes.
Yeah.
I was ready for my Rachel Berry moment. I was walking down the hall like it wasn't like that. No. So yeah, it's real. It is competitive.
Oh
It
wow.
is clicky, but it is also like if you find your niche or if you find your people,
Hmm.
and sometimes like your people may not be theater folks. Yeah, like some
Really?
of my close creative friends, some of them are like nurses. Yeah, some of them are
Wow.
like lawyers. Like it's just yeah, sometimes your community is not always in theater. So like that
Mm,
was something that I learned as well
yeah,
on my
yeah.
journey at least.
And you act now. You still act.
I do. I've taken a break for a year because I've been more into the writing world, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's where I started.
Is what's the hardest thing pursuing acting as an adult?
Hardest thing pursuing acting for me, at least, it's like a level of confidence.
Mm,
Because like growing up, I wasn't told that I was like desirable or attractive. And so, like, as an adult, which is a weird shift, it's like, oh, you're attractive. And I was like, I don't feel attractive. I still feel like that kid who no one wanted,
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it is, for me, it's been just like working through that. And also, like, with writing, I have more control over like the creativity and the things I want to see. Like, I get more joy at this current moment making space for others than putting myself in the forefront right
I love that. I
now.
was just telling our producer, shout out to the producer in the building today,
Yeah.
how it's it's becoming more and more. It's always been important. Or I think the thing you think you should say, but like, how can I help other people and with what I'm doing? So like,
Mm-hmm.
I want a new logo for the show, but I want to work with a Black designer who does and that can benefit from it. So
Mm-hmm.
how can I make all my work helpful to other people,
Right.
and we can collaborate and gain exposure and make money and all that stuff. So I think about that a lot because I think when we think about helping people, sometimes, well, for me, it was like, well, I can give my time or money, but I wasn't thinking about I could like collaborate with another designer, or you're like writing roles for people,
Yeah.
so and like using people the space, utilizing the space. So that's like I think that's an important part of our work
Yeah.
is to help other people. And what you said about when you feel a certain way when you're young, it doesn't go
It
away.
doesn't.
You just gotta like work with it.
Mm-hmm.
How do you work with it within the through how do you build your confidence?
Well, I'm in therapy. So
Okay.
yay, black man in therapy. Yes, I've been going to therapy for like 3 years.
Okay.
Journaling. Also, affirmations work for me a
Mm-hmm.
lot. And also on top of that, sometimes giving less fucks about how people feel about you or your art.
Yes.
You gotta have a
Yeah.
mindset of I'm gonna be vulnerable, but I'm also not gonna care how my vulnerability is received. So
Mm.
yeah, that's the journey I'm
Yeah. How long
on.
have you been doing your affirmations?
For like a good few months now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
How many do you do them in the morning and at night?
I do them whenever they hit me. So sometimes in the morning, sometimes at night,
Okay.
sometimes throughout the day.
Do you have a
Just
lot?
just like a few.
Yeah. I'm obsessed with
Yes.
affirmations. I've been
Hmm.
doing affirmations for like 7 years. They
Wow.
are they're free
They are.
and they're
Hmm.
simple and they work.
Hmm.
And you don't believe them at first. I mean, I can't speak for you, but I
Hmm.
wrote down, I was like, what the? I don't believe this. And I do mirror work too, which is really hard.
Yes.
Um, but it gets like everything else, it gets easier as you go. You know what
Oh
I
yeah.
mean?
Hmm.
So, do you do mirror work?
I've never done mirror. Wait, yes, I've done some mirror work. Yes.
Okay, it's just saying your affirmations
Hmm.
to yourself, and you're looking deep in your eyes. It's
Hmm.
very.
Yeah, it's vulnerable. Also, like shadow work is something that I was introduced to
Really?
because, like, just getting to know that inner child again and like
Yeah.
finding peace within him
Which I haven't done shadow work.
is intense.
How do I get started?
Yes. Well, if you like, you can go on Google and type in like shadow work questions, and that's like
Okay.
100 questions that you could do. You can do like one or
Okay.
two
Yeah,
a
yeah,
day,
yeah. Okay.
and you just like one question is like, what is one thing that you learned from your family that you want to keep, and then one thing you want to get away, like throw away,
Yeah.
and then so yeah, you just answer that question, and then you sit with it, and then whatever comes up comes
Ooh, them prompts, they ain't no joke.
up. Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because I've Googled like journal prompts for certain things, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, I did not know this prompt was gonna prompt me to cry.
Right.
Like, I didn't know that I was gonna be in this space today. So be careful, y'all. Do it. Do
Yeah, be
it in your
careful.
home when you're ready to shed a tear, maybe, where you can really let go.
Mm-hmm.
um, so you said that you're an art activist. Can
Mm-hmm.
you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, like some of the work that I did with the Boys and Girls Club, but also like in college. I'm about to get like a little bit more honest with you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
In college, I dealt with homophobia like intensely and racism.
What college did you go to?
I
I
went
know you went to community
to
college, but
yeah,
it
I
was
graduated from Valdosta State University.
that in?
Valdosta State University.
Okay.
It's in South Georgia.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, and just living there, I I was there for 3 years. In the
Hmm.
whole 3 years, I was, I wow, for 3 years I dealt with discrimination daily, weekly, like from my roommates who didn't want to live with a gay person, and also from my program. And this may not get in here, but but from my program, I dealt with it as well, like racism, and yeah, it left me with complex PTSD after I graduated because I
Hmm.
graduated right in the pandemic, like,
Hmm.
and so yeah, during that time, I wrote a piece called "The Gay Roommate" because that is what I was called by them
Wow.
when I
Okay.
moved in the whole
Yeah.
time. And so I used that as the play title because everyone was so invested in what was happening in my bedroom when it was just me and my boyfriend
Hmm.
going to school. That was it. So like
Yeah.
I wrote it, and it was also during the time when the Orlando shooting happened. Because
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Yep.
at the time when I was with my partner, he was a Spanish major, and I used to go out to the Spanish clubs here in Atlanta before I went to school. 18, 19, going over there doing bachata. Anyway, like I was like, we should go out to Orlando. We should go to a Spanish club, like the gay one, have a good time. We kept talking about that whole summer, and then like a week later, the shooting happened in Orlando,
Hmm.
and that messed with me. And then I saw on like Facebook 2 years prior, I came out the day that the folks were shot up in the club. And I felt like it was important for me to, I'm like, their voice is gone, but your voice is still here.
Yeah.
So you need to write this piece. And so I wrote it about like this character named Matthias who experiences homophobia from his roommate
Hmm.
and how he navigates it. So it's not a show about coming out, it's a show about how do I exist as a queer person with
Yeah.
confidence. And yeah, I wrote that show, did it in 2020 on Zoom because we were going to do it on campus, but then we got, the
Right.
pandemic sent
Right.
us out. So I did it on Zoom, and then later, True Colors reached out to me and they were like, hey, can we invite you to be a part of the Divinely Connected Early Career Artists Commission? So they commissioned me to do a scene from the piece,
Wow.
and I directed it, and it's on like YouTube with them now. But yeah, ever since that, like my art kind of is a response to things that I've dealt with or seen that's not okay.
What True Colors? What is True Colors?
Kitty and Leon's True Colors Theater Company, they are based here in Atlanta.
Okay.
They do really great work, and yeah, I was an intern with them,
Uh-huh.
and so I was affiliated with them, and they watched some of the work that I did on Zoom in 2020 and reached out to me.
Wow. So I'm hearing real quick. Do your work. They gonna and people who needs to see is gonna see it. You never
Yes.
know who's watching.
Mm-hmm. Because it was a free show, and college students performed, yeah, in
That's
that
so
piece.
dope.
Mm-hmm.
What did, if you feel comfortable sharing, what did some of the discrimination look like, or maybe feel like?
Yeah. In terms of my living arrangement, um, they would throw parties without like my consent or without telling me.
Hmm.
So either I would be at school all day and come home, and there would be like 30 people, 40 people in a room this size.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I walk in, like they would just stare and laugh. Or for like the whole year, I would walk in, me and my partner, and we would walk in. It'd be a group of black men sitting on a couch. And so, like, imagine just walking up the steps, and then you turn to the left, and there's a couch, like the living room, and they're watching a football game. And as soon as I'll walk in, I'll look at them. They won't say nothing. I'll unlock my door to go in my room, close the door. They'll bust out laughing. Did it every time I came into the apartment for a whole year, the first year I was there. And I tried to talk to them individually, and they were, oh no, we cool, it's not a big deal. But I was like, if it's not a big deal, how come in a group it is? You
Mm-hmm.
know, so clearly I was the butt of the joke.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I tried to talk to the apartment complex about it. They tried to set up a meeting. The meeting never happened. Then later I moved on to campus my senior year, and there was a roommate of mine, I'm not gonna say his name, but he emailed me. Let's call him Bobby. Bobby emailed me while I was doing my internship, actually at True Colors that same year. It was 2019. And he was like, hey, I see that we're roommates. Is it cool that I get your social to follow you? And I was like, well, I don't normally share my socials,
Mm-hmm.
but it's cool. You know, we're going to live together. He looked at my socials, saw what he needed to see, blocked me. And then I reached out to him. I was like, hey, I've dealt with this before, and I'm not calling you a homophobe, but these are tendencies that people do when they're uncomfortable around me.
Mm-hmm.
So is that the case? And he was like, yeah, I don't want to live with someone like you. And this is all through email. And I'm like, okay, great. All right, so what can we do to resolve this? And he was like, you'll figure it out. And I was like, how am I supposed to figure it out if you're the one with the issue? I don't have the issue.
Right.
And he's like, well, you'll figure it out.
What?
So yeah, long story short, I called housing. They set up a meeting. We had to like create a contract together on how to like tolerate each other.
So you still had to move in with them?
Yeah, still moved in because I got from my college. I got two different responses. One was, "Oh my God, that's terrible. That's not okay. We're gonna teach him about tolerance." And then the other example was, "Well, that's just spiritual beliefs. You can't get mad at people for having different belief systems than you."
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, I understand,
Right.
but I don't feel safe.
Right. No, that's
So
important to tell
yeah.
people if they don't, you don't, you know.
hmm
Anyways, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. Just like the point is like, yeah, I was like, because what made them listen was when I mentioned like Matthew Shepard. I don't know if you know that story.
No.
It's just about like a little, it's about a white gay boy who got attacked. I think he lived in the Midwest somewhere, I think Wyoming, to
Yeah.
be exact. And he got attacked. Like he left a gay bar and essentially he got beat up and was left, unconscious, and he passed. Like 18, 19 years old. Yeah, real young. And just he got harmed for existing. And so that was a big fear for me in college.
Yeah. So you
Mm-hmm.
were in constant fear about
Mm-hmm.
what could happen to you,
Yes.
but luckily nothing did.
Nothing happened.
What did that? How does that affect your identity and how you see yourself?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me drink some water real quick. Hold on.
I'll do it. I'll be like parched.
Mm-hmm. Okay. How does that affect my identity? Well, something that I did to take my power back when I graduated from college, it was literally like, yeah, it was March of 2020. I was on campus. It was like, hey, Prentiss, you gotta leave. You all have to leave. So I packed my stuff up in trash bags and moved out,
Mm-hmm.
and finished my last 2 months on Zoom
Mm-hmm.
with my classes. And with that, for my graduation pictures, I decided to take a very gay graduation
Mm-hmm.
picture. So I had like a rainbow mask and I bought an umbrella, and the caption was "Through rain or shine, I still got mine."
Mm-hmm.
And I quoted a whole bunch of like um, queer black artists for my graduation picture. I think Marlon Riggs, he has a quote that says, "It is necessary it is necessary to continuously remind yourself that you are not an abomination," which was like
Mm.
my first affirmation for my identity.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like with that, there are moments where I get uncomfortable or like I mask, like I make my voice deeper at the
Uh
barbershop,
huh.
or like I just become stoic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's moments where I'm like, you can't keep apologizing for who you are because they don't.
That's what I was thinking too. Like even being so I'm black and then like at work I code switch sometimes. And it's like where's the line between we do have to navigate different spaces. Even if I'm around all black people all the time. I'm a little you I there's some shifts that happen depending on who I'm with. Like I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna talk to my mom how I talk to you.
Right.
So talking to my mom, my Baltimore accent is strong, it's
Yes.
hood, it's all of the things. But I don't go in the streets like that to talk
Mm-hmm.
to anybody. But then it's like, where is it like I'm hiding who I am fully? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something I wrestle with. Like, how much do I want to try to make y'all comfortable? But then it's also, well, I have to think about my livelihood and my well being. So there's like you know what I mean? So how
Mm-hmm.
do where's your line, you know?
That's a good question. I think my line falls for like I'm working on that line. But I think one of them is like my spiritual practices. Like I'm like I don't have to share them with everybody. Like, I believe in God, all the
Right.
things. But like one of the biggest things for me, like people, because I'm humble and I'm like kind of meek and soft spoken at
Uh-huh,
times.
uh-huh.
People walk up to me, can I tell you about God? I want to tell you about God. Or they're like, do you have a wife? You got any kids? And I'm like, no, neither one. So like my boundary is like if someone's
Yeah.
like, can I talk to you about God? I'm like, sure, we can talk about God, but please know that your belief system is your belief system that you have to
Yeah.
follow. I
Yeah.
don't have to follow it if I don't want to, if it doesn't serve me.
My mom told me something so important about God that stuck with me. I mean, everybody's probably heard it, but because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm in church, but I'm still drinking. And I was like, I'm not going to stop drinking right now.
Right.
And she was like, your relationship with God is your business. And that's your relationship with God. So don't let anybody tell you uh, how that relationship should be.
Mm-hmm.
And that always stuck with me. And like, I always think about that with anything almost now of like, nobody can tell me who I am.
Right.
It's my responsibility to draw the lines, to take my power back and just be who I am. And it's probably from getting older too, because I've always hidden who I was.
Right.
Just my personality. I thought it's too big, I'm too loud, I talk too much, I'm too this, I'm too that. But now um I don't care, and it's
Right.
very freeing because it's like as long as I'm not hurting anyone, if you don't like what's happening, that's your problem. Like that is nothing. And if you want to put me down, long like, fuck you, you know.
Yeah.
And as long as you're not hurting me, that's a different. That physical stuff is completely different. Somebody's
Yes.
physically harming people, but that's not what I'm talking about. That's a whole nother conversation. But just to like hide who you are to make other people comfortable is exhausting, and that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yes. It's terrible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So like say when you go to the barbershop and you like let me put
Hey,
my
how you doing? I'm gonna
voice up.
fade.
So
Yeah.
let me get the well, how does that
Mm-hmm.
make you feel? Like and what do you feel after how do you feel after?
Um. Wow, that's a great question as well. How I feel after, I create a character,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, okay, this nigga straight. He has a wife, like
He got the wife and kids, and that's what
yes,
about.
right. I'm like, he's getting his like taper done. Like his name is Ed, whatever. Like,
Right.
it just helps me. I separate. I kind of disassociate the whole time. I
Mm,
don't talk. I look at my phone and only get up when I'm spoken to because like I am one of the queer people who cannot mask well, so
right.
people can tell. It's like all my life, like, oh, you kind of gay, you right. Like you're not wrong. Like I can't mask that well, so I'm like,
Right.
ooh, just don't move too much, don't
Yeah.
be too big, and that's kind of like the internal dialogue. It has inspired pieces where I want
Right.
to write about that
Yeah.
in pieces because I feel like every black man, every black person who gets it, anyone who gets a haircut should feel safe in a barbershop. Like there was one example recently. It mostly happens in the South. It doesn't really happen like what other
Mm,
places I've been. But like in the South, like this one guy asked me recently. He was like, "Oh, because Christmas is coming up." He was like, "What you doing for Christmas?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going to see my best friend."
mm,
And he was like, "Oh." is it a guy or a girl? I was like, it's a girl. And he was like, oh, okay, y'all been friends for how long? I was like, 10 years. He was like, oh. And I was like, does she have kids? I'm like, yeah, she has 2 kids. He was like, wait, you've been there for her kids the whole time? I'm like, yeah. He's like, dude, that's your soulmate. And I was like, sure. I was like, she sure is. But I noticed something that I've never noticed before. When he thought I was straight, his body language was comfortable. When he thought I was straight, he was like touching me differently.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't afraid of closeness.
Wow.
Which is something that I notice a lot with straight men when I like reveal, my queerness. They're like really uncomfortable. Like they're like, oh, we different. But when like he thought I was straight, I felt like a brother for the first time.
Yeah.
I know that's deep.
No. Because I want to make sure that I'm being respectful because I don't know what it's like to be exactly in your situation. I know what it's like to be Black, but I don't know. That's it. Like, so I don't want to pretend that I know or try to sit here and act like I do. But something just hit me of like, I think I wonder what you think about this. Like being a woman, I notice men act different around women too. So like maybe it's like anytime there's a um option for it to be sexual, they want to like make sure that it's they're clear that they're not
indicating.
Yeah, so maybe I don't know because I know as a woman, I'm like I know that they're just trying to make sure they don't come off wrong,
right?
And it's not against me. Does that make sense? And I'm not saying that's your situation because it's very, but maybe I'm just thinking, does that make sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, like just how people navigate each other.
Yeah, like, oh, I don't want to be clear. I ain't trying to.
Right. Oh, yeah. And I wasn't even trying to like go that direction. I was just like, I just noticed that there was a sense of brotherly love that I haven't experienced as much.
I thought, and there's stereotypes about Atlanta. Like even when I was moving here, they're like, well, so you feel like there's a lot of discrimination in Atlanta?
And like
I know you said the South, but
Atlanta
a little different.
Atlanta's different.
Yeah.
But like the rural parts, like the suburban parts.
Okay. Okay. What would you tell people who treat you less than? If you could say, like, what is the stuff you think? Like, what could you say to them?
I usually
talk to them.
Yes, I usually put it in my characters. I let them talk for me, but like me as Prentiss, I would just simply say like, my queerness is not the most interesting thing about me. There's so much more. like who I love versus like the things that I love doing. Are two different things. Like they're both important, right? But like people focus on that, and I'm like, but I'm an artist. I love Black women. I love uplifting people. Like I love God. Like there's so much more to me than just that. Right. But I'm not diminishing that to make you comfortable either.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, I love that. I was thinking about racist people and like Trump and stuff. Like I have a friend who voted for Trump, but we were friends for 20 years before she voted for Trump. So I'm not gonna not be her friend. I wish we lived in this world like we can think differently and have different choices, but still be kind to one another. Like just because we believe something different, I'm not saying I don't. I'm cool with that. Like I don't care. That's not my business. Actually, it's not my business. But I wouldn't treat somebody. I wouldn't want to hurt anybody because they think something differently than me. That's when it's like, what the hell? Right. Even if it's something that you can't get past, you're like, oh no, I'll just stay away. But when you want to hurt people over it, that makes no sense to me. Like what? Like if there's racist people, I just want to stay away from them. I don't want to hurt them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the line. It's like, okay, you can't make everybody like you. Fine, whatever. Right. But why do you want to physically hurt me? Right. Just leave me alone. I'm not bothering you.
That's what I do. I'm a big advocate of minding your own business.
Mind your damn business. It's free. And you can get more done. Right. Like if you focus on your own life, your life can be good. Like you can get, if you have all that time to use all this energy to hate, that's energy you could be using on way better things, like way more productive things. Right. For your even you could use that energy to go have fun at least. Why you want to sit around and be in this hate? That's draining. Yeah. So I don't know, whatever. Y'all do y'all, but just leave us alone.
That's it.
Just leave us alone. Right. Okay. So I'm shifting shifting gears here. What's been I feel like I kind of don't know where to go after that, but I don't want to harp on it because that's not all that you are. But how do you feel?
Oh yeah.
You want to say anything else about it?
I am so good. Thank you for giving me space to talk about it.
Sure. And I think it's important too. The show, my goal of the show is to bring people on and get different perspectives and to get more insight and to just be a more well-rounded humans in the world. And if some kindness can come through.
Oh yes. And also I can say this in terms of the more art activism piece. I also worked with like queer youth when I was living. I lived in Omaha for like 2 years. I know that's random, but they hired me. Like I worked at a theater called the Rose Theater, and what inspired me to go there was just like to learn how to be a teaching artist. And while I was working there, I worked with like queer youth, and there was this group called Pride Players, and where I was uplifting, young folks who has all different types of identities devise pieces of theater that explore those themes. So that's another form of the art activism that I do as well.
I think that's so important. And I wanted to ask you too, before we moved on, do you encourage queer youth or people to have a community of other queer people? Not only, but because I'm asking that because I lived in LA for a while, and at the time it was 12% Black, and that hurt my spirit because I'm from Baltimore, where it's like where I was living like 80% Black. And to not be around people who look like me was hard. And it was a culture shock, and I didn't feel as supported. I didn't feel as understood. And people were nice. I'm not saying people were mean to me. I didn't. Luckily, I didn't deal with anything. I know I look racially ambiguous, but as soon as I started talking, people know that it's not. And my mama is Black,
right?
So, but it was. It's just a certain level of understanding when you're around people, Black people. And I'm sure that's the same probably in other cultures too. I don't want to speak for other cultures, and it's not a racism thing. It's just like, oh, I feel seen. There's some things I don't have to explain. There's a baseline. So, and when I moved to Atlanta, that was one of the reasons for my decision is the Black population, and then the success of the Black population here. So, I do encourage, if that's something that's important to you, I think it's important to put yourself in those places and in those communities. And I've seen my career shift. I've seen my life is just, it's better and I'm happier. Yes. So would you encourage?
Definitely would encourage you to find your people. Definitely would encourage you to find people who don't see like your quirks as like flaws, more so like things they want to celebrate. So yeah, I definitely can like just echo what you're saying.
Okay. Because I didn't know I didn't want to, like, I don't want to speak for a community that I'm not like a part of. I'm for it, but I don't, I don't know what it's like to walk in your shoes, and I don't want to pretend. Okay. So shifting gears. What? Oh, we don't have that much time left, right? Oh, good. We got some time. Okay. So what's the best? Okay, where do I want to go? What's your biggest motivation?
To be who I needed to be the adult that my younger self needed to see.
Wow, you thought about this already.
Oh yeah. Yes. Thought about it. I was like, yep, that's it.
I love that. I'm gonna steal it.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I'm gonna change the words.
Yes.
Okay. What do you consider your biggest failure today, and how would you?
The biggest failure? Wow, that's a good one. I don't know about that.
Sorry, these are blinking. Oh shoot. Okay. Hopefully we're good.
No, you're good. Everything's okay?
Yeah. I wonder how long they've been blinking. Just peep over for a while, every once in a while, everybody to see if they're so I'll say it again just in case. What's been your biggest failure to date, and how'd you get through it?
Wow. Let me think. I guess my biggest failure that I can speak on in this moment was realizing that I couldn't afford to go to like a giant school in New York City.
Technical difficulties.
It's okay.
We got tech issues, y'all, but just stick with us. Okay. You want me?
Okay, biggest failure. I would say I don't know if it's necessarily a failure because like I feel like success isn't linear. You know, we go in all different directions, but it was a big failure for me, was just realizing that I'm like, hey, I can't go to this giant school in New York City, but I can go to community college. I can get my credits up. I can transfer to a school in Georgia, and I can make something happen for myself.
Yeah.
So just like letting the dream of going straight to New York right after high school die in order to get to where I'm at now. So I think that's the best answer I can give you right now.
Yeah, no, I get that. I love that you didn't harp on it. How long did it take you to get over it?
Wow, I was mad. Yeah, it took me like a good, probably like 8 years. Yeah, because like I was like, if I would have went to dance school as a kid, I could have been here. If I took voice lessons at like 4, I could be here. But I did study musical theater at Valdosta State. I did, and I graduated with that degree. So I still achieved what I wanted to achieve. It just wasn't the way I thought it was going to go.
Yeah. I used to do the same thing often, but it doesn't happen as often now. But I was like, I went to this school that had a theater program, but I did another focus. It was high school, and I was like, and then I left that school. But if I had stayed there, then I would have went to New York, and then I would have went to LA, and then my career would have been here, and And it's like, I gotta let it go.
Right.
I could. Yeah, those things could have happened, but they are not going to happen. It's nothing about the past is gonna change.
Right.
So I gotta get over it. But I still think about it like, damn, I wish I had made some different decisions.
Right. Yeah, I just need rich parents, but it's okay.
Yes. I needed some confidence. I didn't believe in myself at all. The school was even free, like with a high school, and they had a program, but I was just too nervous to do it. Just worried about what people were gonna say, thinking I wasn't capable of it, and it's like, damn, I wish I would have just been stronger than all of those things. I mean, it's there now, but it took 20 years. It took a long time. Right. But I love that you are able to admit that, like, that sucked, and I was upset about it for 8 years, like a long time. Because I think we want to pretend and paint these pictures like, oh, I was over it quick or whatever. Some things take a long time to get over, like a really long time. My time in LA was not a success. I was there for 6 years, and like, I still think like, oh, that sucked. Like, that was terrible, and I don't know why I stayed so long. But you move on. Yeah. You move on. What's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice that I've ever received. Wow, these are great questions. Yes, I guess the best advice that I ever received was from, her name is Billy Washburn. She's like a mentor of mine. She was the dean of students at my community college. And when I went to this school, I felt so insecure because I'm like, I just went to 2 different community colleges. This is my 3rd one, and I still don't have an associate's degree yet. And I was like, I know it looks bad. It looks like I just start and stop, but I promise you, if I start here, I'm gonna finish. I want to go to a 4-year. And she was like, let me stop you right now. She was like, are you here? I was like, yeah. She was like, are you trying? I was like, yeah. She was like, that's enough.
Wow.
And that helped me. And like, I always like think of that. And another thing that I think of whenever I get like stressed with work that is accumulating, I always say like the hardest part is starting. It's easy to finish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm not adding to it, but it reminded me of this quote that I heard in a book, audio book I was listening to, and I think about it all the time. It's like, if you're intimidated by your to-do list, look at your to-done list.
Right.
And I'll be like, dang, that's so true. I write down all the things I've accomplished. And I'm like, okay, I know I have evidence that I'm capable of X, Y, and Z, so I know I can do this next thing.
Right.
I like that. You're here and you're trying.
Yes.
I love it so much. Okay, I wanna ask 2 more questions.
Okay.
What do you hope people say about you when you're not in the room?
I hope that I have a philosophy where my philosophy that I like to incorporate in my life is make something better than how you found it.
Mm-hmm.
So like my goal is like people will remember how you treated them.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want people to be like, you treated me kind. He was there for me. He just was supportive. He was a good friend.
Yeah.
He was just someone that I could count on. So that's what I want someone to say if I left the room.
Yeah.
So,
How do you do that?
How do I do that? Like 2 people? Like
like how do you leave it better? Because we hear these things and they sound great.
Right.
But how do you do it?
For me, I just hold space. If someone shares a story, like I have a lot of black women who I'm close to, and they'll share stories about like their past or like their experience with misogyny. I just listen, and I hold space and I validate the experience. I'm like, are you sure? Like, I don't want to do that because I'm like, they feel comfortable with me as a man to share what they experience from another man. So like, I feel like that's one way of making things better, just holding space for people, listening, and practicing empathy.
That's so true. Feeling heard feels so good. Damn. That's a really good actionable step. It's I don't know if it's easy to listen, but like it's something that we're capable of, most of us, and it's free and it's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all do that. Okay, just listen and hold space.
Yeah.
And validate their feelings. Yeah, because it's like if somebody tells you something and you're like, are you sure it happened like that, or you're discrediting what they're saying. That's
and also like it's vulnerable for them to share that.
Right.
So I'm like, why would you just listen?
Yeah. You just listen. You offer an ear.
Offer ear. Active listening. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes what they say, like on the surface, I hear what's underneath sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I try to listen to what's underneath what they're saying to me, right, and offer space to that. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I love that. Cause sometimes I'm like, I want to be so considerate, I want to be so kind, and I really try, but I have bad days. I have time, or not even a bad day. I'm just so caught up in my own stuff that even a to-do list, like I'm just so distracted and like hyper focused, like a tunnel vision focus on my what I have to do, that I forget to hold space for the people around. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's not even to be mean or rude. It's just like I genuinely am not even seeing it. So I think I'm trying to make like a takeaway for me and for the audience of like just making a little room for that, like taking a beat. And being like, oh wait, some other people could maybe use something right now, instead of being like hyper focused on just what we got going on. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. Or if someone's like, I feel anxious about this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and like that's what they're saying on the surface, but underneath they're like, I don't know if I'm capable. So you just say, hey, I know you feel anxious, but you are capable. If this opportunity wasn't handed to you, it wouldn't be for you.
Yeah.
So and that helps me, and I've done it to other people.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Okay. The main point of the show. What does success mean to you?
What does success mean to me? Sorry, the Beyonce song popped in my brain.
Which one?
Pretty Hurts.
Oh, that's one of the songs I practiced to learn how to sing better.
Yeah, it's just like, I want to be happy.
Her intro.
Yeah.
The part where she was talking to yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my brain went there.
No.
But what does success mean to me? Okay. Success means to me. I've been thinking about this one. It looks like being okay to pivot. And because when I was 18, I thought I'm gonna be a musical theater performer. I'm gonna be on Broadway. I'm gonna be in New York City. I'm gonna do this, and this. And that dream still does exist. That dream does still exist within me. It's just something I was analyzing that, and I was like, how can you distill it down into a sentence? And I was like, success looks like making safe spaces for people. Success looks like when an actor looks at my script, they don't have to, oh, I could kind of make this character black. I know this role's for a white person, but I could do it, you know? Like, my shows, I try to tailor them for black bodies. And that is like my love letter back to my community and my love letter back to my younger self, who felt like he always had to like bend in different ways to fit. So yeah, that's what success looks like to me.
I love that. I think it's so important. And I recently, when my ignorance made me have this thought a while ago, like, because I hear a lot of actors, I don't want to say complain, but just point out that there's so few roles for black people. And I was like, I didn't really see it, right? And then now I was looking for new shows. And I know it sounds like so ignorant, but I'm in Atlanta, so everything I'm seeing is black.
Right.
And so I was like, what do they mean? You know, I didn't fully see the full picture. And then I was looking on Hulu, and I was looking on Netflix, and I was looking on HBO, and I was looking on Peacock, and I was looking at all these streaming services for black shows. I had watched them all. Like, there aren't, like, if you scroll through, you might see one out of like 20. Like, it's insane. And it's like, I don't like that. And then so many are about the hardships and like, or drugs and I'm not saying there's not space for that, and that's not real, but can we have all the like white people have all the different versions, the quirky ones, the rich ones, the deadbeats, they have the full scope of being human, where we have the stereotypes. And I mean, we like to say it's getting better, but they pop, you know, one black character in there, and then they're like, oh, that's enough, and it's not. And it's like you just don't see yourself represented in those spaces. And it's like, I was like, damn, all the things that these people are saying they're so true. But you hear it so much, and then when you have a tunnel vision, like I was only watching Insecure when that was on, and like Snowfall and The Shot, and then those shows are gone. I'm like, what the heck are the shows? And people are watching these shows. Insecure and Snowfall did very well. I mean, I'm sure other ones did too, but it's like, we have so few chances. I'm not discouraged in any way. I know there's still space for me, but it's like, we want to see ourselves, and it's like, you have 50 shows and 3 of them are black shows.
Yes, I feel the same way about, like, because I'm a black nerd. I grew up watching like Matilda, Hocus Pocus, Harry Potter.
Those are 2 of my faves.
Yes.
Hocus Pocus and Matilda.
Yes, I love those. And like, I will always like look for the black person in Harry Potter, and there was like 2. Or 3, and they barely spoke. They only had like 1 or 2 lines. But I remember I see all their faces. It was 1 black girl and 2 black boys, and they were spread out within the 7 movies. So, but the point of what I'm trying to say is, like, during 2020, when everything was happening with the riots and, you know, all the big feelings that were valid, you know, I turned to books like Tomi Adeyemi, Children of Blood and Bone.
Okay.
That was the first book I read where all the characters were black, and they were all like powerful black characters. At the end of the first book, I cried because it was a whole world built where black people have like magical abilities from like the Orishas. If you don't know what that is, they're like titans. Okay? And so yeah, like after that definitely like put a huge influence on my work, which is like what brought me to create the Golden Lock.
Yeah. I love that. Like, so there's a domino effect when we create our work. So this person created and inspired you to create. And then I went to a conference or something. There was all black sci-fi authors. I gotta find the woman. I want to shout her out. No, this woman's local.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And then I went to a small black-owned bookstore. It was like a nerd place, and I saw her book in there, but I didn't know it was her. I didn't put the connection. And then when I Googled it and looked it up, I was like, I saw her speak on the stage. And I only got to read like 4 or 5 pages because I wanted to buy it from her website or something. I didn't buy from that store. I want to support everybody, but they you know, you gotta pick and choose. And but her work, I mean, what I read was so beautifully written. And so I want to share it. I'm gonna put it in the show notes, y'all. Damn, I wish I could know it right now. But anyway, it'll take me a while to look it up. But anyway, what I'm saying is at least like, I don't want to say at least, but if we can't get these huge shows, we can still do the books. We can still write the plays. We can still put on the shows. We can still do it for ourselves. And I said this on the last show, we're in this beautiful time where we have access to so much, and we can reach out and network and meet people and create these things for ourselves. It's like, let's just do it. You know, that's why I'm doing this show. Let's just do everything for ourselves, because they ain't gonna, it's been how long? They ain't doing it. So. Right. And then once we do it, and once we keep doing it, and all the people show up, then they're gonna be knocking away. Right. So I'm so excited to hear that you're creating this work that is for folks like you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Anything else?
I have a new project coming out this summer, actually.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
It's gonna be in Indianapolis.
Okay.
I'm gonna come to Atlanta. Like, I'm ready to work.
Yeah.
But the short version is there's this group called the BIPOC TYA Superhero Project. I know that's a long title. But like basically it's a project where it's ran by this amazing playwright named Jose Casas.
Okay.
He gathered 20 plus playwrights from across the country to write a play centering a Black or brown superhero character for kids. And at the end of this, all these plays are going to be published in one anthology. So when theaters are like, oh, I can't find any Black plays that talk about superheroes for kids, you know, or for like indigenous kids, there's going to be a book now. So I'm going to be published this year, which is wild. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And the new play that I wrote is called Micah Meets a Mami Wata, which is just which is a play about a little Black boy who gets bullied for believing in mermaids and the sea, but he actually meets a Mami Wata mermaid and finds out that he has connection to the ocean and superpowers.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Will people be able to find all of this on your Instagram or?
Yes, my Instagram, as well as my website, PrentissCreates.com.
Okay.
And yes, and it's happening. It's still weird for me to experience this, but it's happening. And I'm currently working on turning the Golden Lock into a book as well.
Wow. Well, you're doing it. You're doing the work. Yes. And you've been doing theater since 9 years old, so you got the credentials, and it's paying off. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
I'll put the info to look you up and look up your work on in the show notes, so check those, and then we will say it one more time when we close out. Anything else before we close out?
Thank y'all so much.
Thank you for being here. You give me a lot to chew on. Okay, so I will close this out. Thank you. Wait, where do I start my closeout? Thank you, Prentiss, for being on the show and sharing your time with me and inspiring listeners to redefine success for themselves. You can find out more about Prentiss on Instagram at
Prentiss Matthews.
You forgot your name at Prentiss Matthews. And your website is PrentissCreates.com. That's so easy.
Yes, I try to make it as easy as possible.
That is very easy, and it's a cool name. So check him out. He's doing a lot of great, cool work. And check the show notes for spelling or whatever, or just hyperlinks there. And thank you, listeners, for tuning in. Thank you so much for bearing with me with the sound. I know this, listen, it's going to get better, I promise. Thank you for sticking with me. This is an indie production.
Yes. You did a great job.
Thank you. And again, I ask that you subscribe too. I know if you subscribe, you're going to see when the sound gets better, or you're going to hear it when the sound gets better, I promise. To the you+happy YouTube channel. Like, share, comment. You can also listen to the show on Apple or Spotify, and you can watch it here on YouTube. And follow the show on Instagram at you+happy. And finally, I asked the guests to say the tagline, which is, we'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
Okay. We'll show you your definition of success if you show us ours.
Yours.
Yours.
Yes.
Say it one more time.
We'll show you.
We'll show you.
our definition of success if you show us yours.
Okay.
It's long.
We'll show you your definition. Wait.
Ours?
We'll show you our definition of success if you show us yours.
Yeah,
there
we
we go.
did it. It's long. I'll update it, baby.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Prentiss.
Thank you.